incredible time talking about Batman Arkham Origins. And I'm a host from EP Daily and Reviews on the Run, and I get to review video games and talk about all kinds of cool, geeky stuff. And I, like you, am a Bataholic. In the beginning, awesome. In the beginning, we had nothing but crappy Batman video games. I think we all remember that. And then in 2009, WB Games worked with an incredible company in the UK called Rocksteady, and they made Batman Arkham Asylum, and that became Batman Arkham City. And now in 2013, we have Batman Arkham Origins and Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate, and we're going to talk about both of those games today. And I've got an incredible group of people to do that with. We're going to start with Eric Holmes, who is the creative director at WB Games Montreal. Mark Pacini, who is the game director at Armature Studios. This is the guys making Blackgate. We've got Batman, Roger Craig Smith. We've got the Joker, which is Troy Baker. And we've got the Chief Creative Officer at DC Entertainment, so one of the architects behind all of our favorite DC characters. This is Geoff Johns. So we started a little bit late, and we have a lot of stuff to get through, so I'm just going to start going into questions, and I think the first thing that we want to do is we want to get right into the story, take us into Batman Arkham Origins, and I'm going to let my buddy Eric Holmes talk about it right now.
Okay, so, hello, thanks for coming. So, on Christmas Eve, the Black Mask, currently Gotham's #1 criminal lord, he puts a price of $50 million on Batman's head, and 8 of the greatest assassins of the DC Universe come to fight for that prize. So that's really our credit.
Okay, fantastic. Now, let's go to Mark Pacini, who's got a different kind of take. It's not the exact same game with the Vita and the 3DS game called Blackgate. What's Blackgate all about, Mark?
Well, all that awesome stuff, but a little bit later.
Okay.
Yeah. Our game is a companion game to the console version that takes place after the events, and it continues the story, and you get to see what happens to the characters after that game. And we're super excited to be part of this franchise.
Awesome. Geoff Johns, congratulations at DC. I know as a longtime writer, one of my favorite writers, I love what you did with Green Lantern. You have got to be excited as hell to see all of your characters, all of your family in this different media represented so well. What's it like for you to see Batman kick ass in video games?
Well, I'm a huge gamer, so working with Eric and Mark and their teams, and Ames Christian at Warner Brothers is somewhere around here. He's my guru. Where is he?
We love you,
Ames. We love you.
It's back.
It's great, and the stuff and the characters and the stories that these guys are pushing are things that we haven't seen in the Batman universe. Some of these things are new, and what I like is the scope and the depth that they're getting to. It's really pretty crazy, and Eric, I hope you can show some stuff soon.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing some stuff. We've got some reveals, some surprises, some video to show, so just hang tight for that. Let's talk about DC, though. This is one of the oldest companies in media and in the comic space for a very long time. There's a lot of veterans at the company. It's not filled with tons and tons of video gamers, or is that changing? And is there more of an appreciation for the video game medium at DC in general?
Oh, I think games just keep getting bigger and bigger and better and better, and clearly Arkham started a whole new level of video games, and then you've got Injustice, and even crazy things like Scribblenauts and Batman Lego.
Right.
So there's the amount of DC games coming out and working with Ames on all this stuff it's pretty staggering. There's a bunch of things coming up ahead we can't talk about yet, but this is we're going to continue hopefully building these great games with these great studios.
Awesome. Okay, well let's talk about the new cast that we have in this game, because I'm sure that everybody is curious. This isn't the same Batman and the same Joker that we've seen in the previous two games. Let's talk with Roger, first of all, who is stepping into the shoes of Batman. Can we get an eye on Batman?
stepping in is a good word to, or a good phrase to use there, because those shoes are ginormous. So I'm more like falling into those shoes.
This has got to be.
A question, or is
Well, I mean, how does it feel? This has got to be the holy grail for every voice. I mean, everybody here can do I'm Batman, right? Right?
I love the low rumble.
So, I mean, how does it feel to be Batman?
I all day have been stammering over that question because it's surreal. I was explaining to Eric beforehand. He's like, "You ready for this?" And I kept going, "No," and I haven't been throughout the entire process. It's you know, when I look in the mirror, I don't see the character. So it's, I mean, you know,
That's why they send you the costume.
which doesn't fit. It bunches and it's embarrassing. It's a huge honor, as I'm sure again, there are no words to describe it. Surreal, a huge honor, and I hope I pay homage to this iconic character.
Can you make them say something?
Yeah,
Batman.
Just say Batman or the Batman. That's perfect.
It's my choice as far as the character. You guys are gonna love it though, I promise. It's good. You gotta wait till it comes out, but it will work. It's a loose interpretation.
All right, let's talk about that Joker. Troy Baker has been in video games, making us cry all year long in the games that he's in. He's in BioShock Infinite and The Last of Us. Given your contenders, and this might be your third. I think it'd probably likely be the third one in 1 year. So he's trying to lock. It's like he's trying to take ownership of all the awards out there.
Give that man a job. Yeah, I mean, when you get a job, you just hope that you don't get fired, you know? And with something like this, you know going in that God, you guys look amazing. I'm sorry, it's like distracting. Holy crap. I don't know if you just real quick sidebar, Eric last night sent out a tweet of the picture of this room unfilled.
Yeah.
And he was like, we have to fill this. And I am overwhelmed that you guys turned out for this panel. Thank you so much.
Australia's in the house.
Austin, oi! I apologize. I want to leave the third one for you. Just briefly, this whole process started about a year for me, actually, at Comic-Con last year, over drinks, with Pause and with Ames talking about, you know, do you want to do this? And I was like, because it's, like Roger has said, you know, it's not lost on us that we are stepping into some amazing shoes. And there's such a rich legacy of and lineage of people that have played Batman and Joker, and specifically Kevin and Mark. And these are the people that I grew up listening to. Absolutely. And what Roger and I both wanted to do, I mean, I just told the story briefly. I used to rush home after school every day, 4:30. I wanted to be in front of my TV because I wanted to hear that iconic theme from the animated series. And so that was me. So that 10-year-old kid that watched that show every day religiously would never ever think that I would be sitting here in this chair on this panel in front of you guys and in this character. So I'm beyond honored and overwhelmed. So thanks.
How do you guys find your voices? How do you find it so that it's yours? Because there have been a lot of great interpretations. It hasn't just been Kevin and Mark out there. But how do you make something that sounds sort of in the right vein, but it's also distinctly yours?
I mean, for me specifically, we have such a beautiful infrastructure and a framework because of what like Mark Hamill for me specifically did, and we have this point on the horizon that the star that we kind of steered our ships towards of making sure that we were in Congress with the Arkham games, with both Asylum and City. And what's cool is that gives us the freedom to move around in that space of, well, how did they get there, and what is that journey like? And to be able to have people like Eric and Amanda Wyatt, who was our voice director, to be our bumper, guy throughout that process and helping us it's an incredibly collaborative effort. But the main thing we wanted to do, for me specifically, and I know for Roger too, is just focus on the character, just do the Joker. And I don't want people to see me as the Joker. I don't want people to think that Troy Baker's doing his Mark Hamill impersonation, because there is literally nothing that I can bring to this character that Mark Hamill, Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Cesar Romero, John DiMaggio, and the list goes on, it's done. I just simply want you guys to see the Joker.
That's awesome. And if you bring Joel and Booker together, it's Joker.
Somebody just pointed that out to me.
Crazy, right?
That was planned.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see a little bit of a video clip, and we're going to hear, I think, one or both of you in that. But I'm wondering if you guys can recall any dialogue, because I know you work together. Can you do any Batman and Joker for us at all? Give us a little taste of this. Come on. We want to hear it. Maybe get into a fight right up here on stage?
Yeah!
Really? Yeah.
At 6'4".
That's the best panel in Comic-Con ever. That's good.
Fighting Troy Baker. Because this kind of flies in the face of what you were saying, as far as this is one of the reasons why I sort of deflected with the goofy voice, because I feel like this ruins it for you.
The one thing that I will do, simply because it was important to me, there was a specific laugh that I've never heard but anybody but Mark Hamill do, and it is by no means me ripping off or anything. It's just I love that he captured this part of the Joker, and it's when he does that really low laugh, like that.
Yes!
That was one of the things I love to do. But again, I don't want, when you guys play the game, I don't want you to see this goofy face on that handsome face.
I'll give one. This is a safe way to go, because it doesn't divulge anything, it doesn't spoil anything, and you're gonna hear this phrase about 50 million times when you play the game. I need a minute to get in a character started. Alfred. This is one other thing I think Troy thought we were going to go for. Is that what you were doing?
Oh no.
Oh, then never mind. I'm not going to do that, because then again, take it away.
I think you should do it.
We should watch a video now.
No, we're not doing that.
No, we should watch a video.
All right. All right, Eric, take us into crafting this story, because obviously there's a lot of incredible things that we get to do as Batman, but I think the reason why these games connect so much with us as fans is there's a lot of concentration and meditation on the craft of storytelling in these games. How do you guys do it? This is WB Montreal approaching Batman Arkham. How do you guys kind of look at storytelling, interweaving it into gameplay and making design choices that way? Take us through your process.
Wow, I guess I don't really have a neat wrapped up answer for that, but I think the best I can say is we have an amazing team up in Montreal. I mean, there's 130 guys up there right now working on locking that game down. And I get to come here and represent for those guys, but they're actively working on the game right now, trying to make sure that story we're talking about makes sense, that the bugs are out of the game, that the levels are balanced. And I know a bunch of these guys will be trying to watch this panel in any way that they can. Is there any chance we can get a cheer for those guys?
Yeah. Arkham Origins, is it you draft up a script and it's like a really hefty movie script because there's a bunch of branching choices and lots of extra dialogue? Or do you start sort of with design first and coming up with kinds of concepts and then sort of apply story to it? How do you do it?
The best answer I can give you for that, I guess, for this game is this game's about Batman growing. A lot of people ask about why we're doing a prequel, and the answer is because the Batman in the other games is very fully formed. It's classic Batman, and he knows who he is. His enemies know him very well, and everything's kind of in place. It goes into that classic setup place where if you pull a story off the shelf, it kind of you expect it to be there. Gordon is his friend, and the Joker and him have this kind of very specific relationship. Everyone's fully realized, but by going back into this prequel space, and the inspiration for me for this game really was Legends of the Dark Knight, the series started in the late 80s. And
you guys know that, right?
The thing that was really special about that really played off of Year One, and the thing that was special about both the Year One book and about everything in Legends of the Dark Knight was you got to see these pieces out of place and then they started to move to a place where they became familiar. So characters weren't in those classic selves. Gordon was Batman's enemy in year one. He was the head of the vigilante task force assigned to take him down. But you knew it's quite distressing. You're watching, going, man, it's upsetting to watch them be enemies. But you know at some point they're going to start to snap together and become friends. And that's really the inspiration for us for all of our story, for the whole set from top to bottom. Because by making things unfamiliar, you get that distress. You get that, oh well, it has to be where it's going to get to. And then when they snap into place, you can relax, kind of like an obsessive compulsive lining up all of these numbered action figures on his desk, or all the pens there. You have to get the pieces into place. So that's really, I guess, our inspiration for the game in terms of the story, in terms of Batman's growth, in terms of all the characters getting to know each other, because you know where they end up, but you don't know how they get there. And so we wanted to answer those questions, set them up at the start of the game, and answer them throughout the whole game.
Right, at City kind of had this rogues gallery, and every awesome Batman enemy you could think of was in that game, so it's a logical kind of choice to strip him back down, and he's dealing with sort of street crime and gangsters and mobsters and stuff. But then you're introducing a bunch of costume villains with unbelievable powers and stuff in this game as well. Take us into the story design on that. Black Mask is your main top bad here.
Well, I guess Black Mask is a very natural choice for it, because our setting really takes us back to when Batman's been fighting the mob, he's been fighting the Falcones, he's been fighting the Maronis, and frankly, he's a lot better than those guys. He's the most skilled guy in the room in any encounter he comes up against these guys. So by going back to this early career setting and sort of trying to develop Batman, with the assassins set up, with these other characters like Deathstroke, like Bane, these other characters coming after him, Batman really has to raise his game. And at first, he's used to being the best. He's very cocky. He's quite arrogant about it. But then by facing off against guys who are at least as skilled as him, and in some cases arguably more skilled, at first it's very dangerous for him. But then it's also emotionally crushing, because he has to rethink his whole worldview. And you know, Batman's a very resourceful character. He never ever gives up. And so he has to face this challenge of these amazingly skilled, amazingly talented guys and the various ambushes and snares and traps they set for him. And he gets to grow through that. He doesn't just fight his way through them. He has to, I guess, reimagine who he is through this journey.
And I guess the villains as well are still finding their footing as well. Like, they're not all fully formed. They're not all at their, like, he's going to meet Bane, but it's not basically the best Bane that we've ever seen before.
Well, you guys have seen Bane in the other Arkham games, and you know he's this giant hulking monster in those games. By taking Bane in Arkham Origins, if you've seen the demo we showed at E3, you've seen the demo that we've got here at the WB booth, the DC booth, and also at the Sony booth, you'll see Bane that's much more informed by his first appearance in Vengeance of Bane when he first turned up. So he's a much smaller character. He's not small by any stretch of the imagination, but he's not this giant, hyper-muscular monster. And there's a reason for that. We get to rewind all these characters in the game, take them back to somewhere that they started, and then see how their encounters with Batman, their experience with trying to take him on or trying to achieve other goals in the city changes them. So I think that'll be a really fun thing. When you see things in Origins and they don't look exactly like they look in the other games, or the story doesn't quite describe these characters in the same way, there's a reason for each one of those changes, because we want to see those characters move and become those characters they eventually will. We get this opportunity to tell you something new about them and show how they become who they are. So yeah, there's a reason for all those changes, be it visual or thematic.
Awesome. Well, I know that the relationship between Batman and Alfred is very different as well. Alfred is really not set on Bruce Wayne spending all of his money and time going off and beating up bad guys. So
Yeah.
they're constantly fighting, right?
There's a really fun relationship with Alfred through our story. Maybe interested to hear Roger's
Yeah,
perspective
because
on it.
you had to play off of Alfred.
I don't want to give anything away. I mean, but there is I had so much fun in the recording process of handling those scenes with Alfred. And it was an honor to work with Alfred's actor. I'll just say that.
Do we not know who Alfred is?
I don't. Again, you understand, like as Troy says, there's somebody from WB with like a dart gun off stage, and like, dude, the ending is gone, and everybody at the end of the.
That's why I want everybody to give a round of applause to Eric here, because he's delicately going around when he can and cannot say it. And he doesn't want to ruin it for us. I mean, I interview this guy for the TV show that I do, and I don't want to know everything. We don't want to know everything, right? I want to be surprised when we sit down for this. Can you tell us a little bit about the differences between the platforms? Because it's coming out on the Wii U and the PlayStation 3 and the 360. Have you got special things planned for, and the PC for each of the machines?
We haven't announced anything.
Okay, there we go. Well, let's talk about DC's perspective on the interpretation of these characters. How much freedom do you give game developers and you know, designers, people that aren't really from the comic space per se? You let them just sort of make it up as they go along?
Well, when it's guys as good as Eric and his team at Warner Brothers Montreal, they get a lot of latitude because you trust them. They also love the characters. Like Eric, in particular, had so much knowledge of the characters, and I mean, he's talking about Legends of the Dark Knight. Like, the clapping was kind of like, you know, 5 people, like you
weren't there, man.
So Eric, you know, we trusted him a lot, and there's a lot of things in the game that I think we all agreed upon and were excited about from the beginning. There's a few surprises that we were like, hey, look, we're not sure about this, but go for it. If this is what you believe in, do it. It's all about creative freedom in the right creative hands.
Awesome.
So let them do what they do best is what we want to do.
Is it time to reveal this?
I hope so.
Surprise? I think it might be. Let's do it.
I'll get a little bit oh, crap.
Boss has got the biggest assassins there is. Here in Gotham, all on the same night, and all going after the same guy. He mad as hell, wants the bat deader than dead. I ain't never seen black mass like this. I don't care who does it. I don't care how they do it. I just want the bat deader.
There's a face I don't recognize. Strange. These reports reference a male, not a female.
14 escapes, huh? Well, you won't forget now.
By my count, there are still 9 more ribs on him.
Is a character which, you know, I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with, but not necessarily as kind of like a top tier, big name character. But Ames Kirshen, who's sitting down there, hello again, Ames, was a big fan of Copperhead, was trying to push us to find some way to include that character in the game. And we wanted to find a way to take what was appropriate for that character, I guess, which is the character's a contortionist, the character uses poisons, the character's kind of creepy and predatory, and is someone who can sneak around and try and take out Batman from the shadows, which is kind of unusual because Batman's usually the guy doing that to other people. And so we were kind of inspired by that, and also with I think the original appearance of Copperhead was somewhere, hello sir, was somewhere in, I think it was The Brave and the Bold. There was a cover where the character was wrapped around either, I think it was Wonder Woman, I think.
Well, he's fighting Batman.
Okay, one or the other. So basically, when it came down to it, we're thinking, well, it's kind of, we have a lot of big sweaty dudes in our roster. We have a lot of guys, and having a big sweaty dude wrapping his way around Batman didn't seem like the most appealing thing. But changing it into this character, suddenly it's kind of, you know, it cuts both ways. Like, it doesn't look all that bad, really, does it? So we worked with Geoff, we worked with our concept guys, and we brought on a whole host of people to win over this idea for this character. You would not believe how many people were involved in creating this character just to that scene that you saw. So the scene that you saw there, just for example, apart from our amazingly talented cinematic team up in Montreal, that includes 3 motion capture performers just for that scene there with that character. We had a stunt woman who literally did that move where she jumped around Batman's neck and slung him across the room using her thigh. We had a girl from Cirque du Soleil come in and do that climbing through the pipe stuff. That's all real. And we had a martial artist do some of that fighting stuff wrapping around him too. So there's an amazing amount of talent being drawn together to produce this game and to provide you with something new. And I hope that's what we've done with Copperhead.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the character for me, like, you know, I'm a traditionalist, and so I was like, well, what are you guys going to create? But they really had a passion for this take on Copperhead, and once I saw it, and we talked about the story, the backstory of who this character was, and saw these videos and these designs, it's so good. Like, we're going to be putting her in the mainstream comic books because you know, shortly after the game because she's such an interesting character, and when you guys see her and fight her and win or lose, because she's tough.
Win.
Yeah.
That's a cross-media.
It's like we feed each other creatively. That's the best thing about working with great people like
That's
Eric
awesome.
and the team.
Well, one of the cool things about the Vita and the 3DS game is that a lot of the motion capture work and a lot of the voice work that you guys basically got 2 games out of the bargain, in a way, right? You got to work on the Vita stuff. It's a carry forward of the storytelling and a lot of the technology. So this is going to be one of the sweetest 2-dimensional games we've seen on a handheld, I think, right? That's what you're shooting for.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, we came into this. A lot of our team has worked on the Metro Prime games, so we're really familiar with making kind of like a more Metroidvania style game. The Arkham games are like that.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan. And by the way, I mean I've seen tons of stuff on this game. I don't know if you curse on this or not, but I won't. Yeah, it's awesome. Being a fan, I mean, these guys are doing an amazing job. So if anybody has any concern about Rocksteady, do not. These guys are amazing. So
But it's cool that the universe is expanding out of 3 different teams, and you were kind of subdued about the fact that a lot of your team worked on Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
I think that deserves a round of applause right there. I think it's seriously one of the best game series of all time, and that's what you're bringing to bear on a Batman portable game.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're feeding off each other. I mean, I'd like to think that Arkham had some inspiration from our stuff, and we definitely got inspiration from them. But yeah, what we're really trying to do with this game is really make it a little more old school. I mean, the console version has that burden of telling this like amazing cinematic story and all of these things that Eric and Geoff were talking about, and we are leveraging a lot of that. We're using voice actors. These guys are amazing, and a lot of the motion capture. But what we get to do is we get to pull it back and be a little more old school with the game. And our game, hopefully you guys get to check it out on the show floor, is a 2.5D experience. It's more, less about the gaining experience and leveling up a character, and more about finding items in the world. And we specifically designed it that way so that it felt more like an older style game, but with all of these new cool things that Arkham brings to bear. And that was what we came to task. And our studio and Geoff came up with what we think is a really cool story twist on this game. Even so, like, when we came to Geoff with the first story thing, he's like, why would you do that? Why don't you do something like this? And we're like, oh God, that's amazing, let's do that. So even in this little, what seems like a smaller scale game, whatever the care that's been put into this game, and the quality that it's going to have, we're extremely proud of it. We hope you guys are really going to enjoy it.
Can't wait.
I mean, this story for Blackgate really I think it starts to open up the DC universe, which is something I'm really excited about in the Arkham.
Yes. Yeah, it really opened up some new stuff, and we have a lot of new characters that aren't in the console games. So
You're spoiling us Bat fans out there. Awesome.
You guys can play it here at Comic Con, right? Like it's on the Sony booth. Is it on the DC booth?
Yeah, it's DC booth.
Cool. Awesome. Well, you mentioned old school, and I think that's a nice way to segue into some of the cool skins that are going to be part of Batman Arkham Origins. And one that I'm incredibly excited about because I was a fan of the old 60s TV show. We actually we get something very cool in here. Ready to show us? Hold on, he's putting his password in. Not very Batman-like, Eric. We're almost there. We're going to show some
His
new
password
skins.
is Batman.
That might. We're actually going to see some new skins that are going to be revealed here for the very first time. But you have to show the classic stuff. And Roger, can you do 60s Batman for us?
What's that?
Can you do 60s Batman for us?
Oh gosh,
Come
the
on.
Adam West version? Oh man.
While we're waiting.
I'm trying to come up with something with no pressure, thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey Roger, can you get into that bus for us right now? Oh, because I thought you weren't about to do it.
Over you.
No, you can honestly do a better version of this, I guarantee you.
Very interesting.
Always, I don't breathe before I say my lines. That's like Shatner. What's he doing? Why did you do this? Why did you do this to me?
Exactly. Alfred, I need the Batmobile.
Can we switch to AV? Let me get it up there. There we go.
Up, up, down, down, right, left.
Will be available for everyone. So,
Not everybody here has seen every skin, so you take.
we'll take you through those too.
Okay.
So this is our default Batman costume, and I think this is a really badass costume. I'm really glad with happy the way it came out. I think we have a really interesting taking down of Batman's gear, taking him down to get a piece together, bench built costume. But let's check out some of the other ones. So these are the Sony exclusive ones we've already.
Look at that! Look at that! This and West never looked like that, by the way. Try.
I actually love that those two are paired up together. Like, you could not get more opposite than those.
I know, right?
I wonder if, as we go through, could you guys hit a little bit? Could you just create something for each of these?
Alfred, I'm going around Gotham.
I'm Nightfall.
Fantastic. So these are two skins based on classic story arcs that will be available in DLC that will be available for the PlayStation 3. You also know that if you pre-order the game, you will be able to play the game as Deathstroke.
That's just hot.
That's crazy.
And there'll be different missions, different game style?
What will happen with the pre-order is you'll be able to play the challenge rooms with Deathstroke. Deathstroke will have a unique moveset, he has unique gadgets, he has his own unique fighting style, and we think this costume is also really badass. It's something that really jumped out when we got the design that everyone wanted to play him, so we really want to bring that to everyone.
I want that action figure.
So you can see that action figure down at the DC booth then.
You guys are not dumb.
Cool, so the next skin we're going to share here is Batman 1 Million. Based on the Grant Morrison art. Troy, I don't know if you got anything in the can for this.
I'm Batman. Utility bound. I got gas pellets for days. I would pay $1 million just to hear her walk and go, I'm Batman. Robin is a little kid. I don't need him anymore. I have single-handedly taken down the beauty of this franchise in like 30 seconds. Please change this.
So next up is probably our most badass skin. Now this is a skin that was actually created as a model as part of our story. It'll turn up in some key parts of our story when we're depicting Batman in what we call in game terms an exotic way. Batman in our game is often depicted as a monster. We're going all the way back to the scary territory for Batman when he's this urban myth and he's not really understood. And there's a couple of times when one particular character sees him and they do not see him as he looks in the real world. They see him as what we call the worst nightmare Batman. And this is going to be a unique... Yeah. A little bit. So this skin is something that you will get when you've unlocked pretty much the entire game. This is going to be for the most hardcore players that have gone through it and drained the game dry, gotten all the achievements and proved true mastery. So we wanted to disperse these different skins in different ways. There'll be different reasons to play different parts of the game to get them, and this will be for absolute masters of the game. So when you see your friend play for Batman Arkham at Twitter, and also I'm constantly tweeting about the game and trying to leak everything that I can because I'm like that. Eric Holmes live. So by all means follow us and.
Why'd you put live at the end of your?
Because there was another Eric Holmes.
Did you put Eric Holmes too?
Live. do we have anybody dressed as Batman or the Joker or anybody from Arkham? What do you think, Eric? Can we get you guys down here? The other thing we need are anybody got any questions for this panel? Anybody on the
Control it.
Line up at the microphone there, okay?
Walk. Everybody walk. Look at this. That's pretty good.
Yeah. All right.
Hello, citizen.
All right. Batman, we've got something for you here. Eric, tell us what Batman is walking away with right now.
We worked with some partners to create a special assassin kit. This is based on something you'll actually see in the game being dispersed to the assassins by Black Masked guys. So in there you should find an intel kit on taking on the Batman and an exclusive T-shirt just made for the show.
There you go. That's awesome.
Wow.
That's awesome. All right, team. You guys have some questions for us?
Yeah. So with the Arkham games, we've really seen a mastery of what a great Batman game should be. But there are obviously a lot of other characters in the superhero and comic book space who are still in search of a great game.
Yep.
So I'm curious if, as creators, as fans, as gamers, what have you, if you could talk a little bit about what we can learn from Arkham and find a way to make great games for those characters who are still in search of one.
What can we learn from Arkham? Basically, you guys, you got it right with Batman. What can other game developers that are working on other characters like that, famous characters, what can they learn from your series?
Maybe I'll try and refer to what I learned from the Rocksteady games. How about that? I think the biggest thing I learned from the Rocksteady games was they have what we termed in our team DNA. They have this great DNA. There's an amazing thing in Arkham. If you look at an hour of gameplay, you snatch any 1 hour of either of those games, the pacing of those games is absolutely fantastic. You have a whole bunch of fighting in those games, you have navigation, you have this Predator gameplay, you have exploration, but you're never doing any one of those things for too long to the point where you're like, I think I've had enough fighting. Generally, you finish every fight with a sense of, man, I wish there was some more guys around because I'm really enjoying this fighting. I really like, I really wish there was some more. And then you get moved on to a different type of gameplay. So that when the fighting pops up again, you're really happy to see it again. The same with the Predator stuff, the same with the navigation challenges or the environment puzzles. The pacing on those games, what Rocksteady produced is a masterpiece.
Right.
And I personally felt that when I played Asylum, and again when I played City, I grew a lot as a designer looking at those games and really appreciating how well paced they were. I think my previous games could be accused of being, a little bit like the pacing in Prototype, for example, is a little bit like an infinite bowl of French fries. And you can eat as many, eventually you're going to be like, wow, I've had enough French fries. But the Arkham games are wonderfully paced, and they really pick them up very well.
Eric's being humble, by the way. He was one of the lead designers, one of the lead guys on the Incredible Hulk video game, which was the best Hulk video game ever made. So he knows his stuff, and that's a big part of the reason why he's up here today. He knows that comic book space. Let's have another question up here.
Hi, my name's Dalton, and this question is for Troy. First off, thank you for being a voiceover actor in video games. Loved you as Snowbillers in Final Fantasy 13. Also, thank you for being the voice of Booker DeWitt.
Here it comes.
And my question is, does Mark Hamill approve of your Joker?
Wow. Did you hear that murmur? I would hope so. I don't know if Mark's heard of anything. I'm certainly a huge fan of Mark Hamill. Mark and I have worked together on other things in the past, and he's amazing as a person and as an actor too. So hopefully he hears this, and that would be the best thumbs up and stale approval as I could get. Just from him.
Next question.
What role will Robin and Batgirl play in this game?
Eric?
There is no Robin at this point in the timeline. Robin does not exist, Batman works alone at this point. If you guys are into your comic books, we agreed with Geoff this is year 2 of his career. So we're generally consistent with the events of year 1, but there is no Robin yet. As for Batgirl, you're going to have to see the game to find out more.
Ooh. All right, next question. Come on up here. Come on. The guy that asked the Batgirl question, come on up here for a second. You just helped us uncover possibly a secret there, so good journalism skills. There's a lithograph. Everybody's got some. Next.
Hi there. All right, so we have Arkham Asylum, we have Arkham City, and now we have Arkham Origins, the prequel. So I'm wondering, after the prequel, will Batman ever go beyond? Maybe even Batman Beyond?
I think that's a Geoff Johns question, maybe? Is that where you want video games to go next?
Did you rehearse that the way you said that? that was good. We talked about everything.
So let me ask, who here would like a Batman Beyond game?
This casual marketing study that you just did here seems to prove out that there might be demand for a Batman Beyond.
The idea tested well.
Noted.
Come on up, man. You get one of these too. There you go. Next question.
Hi,
Everybody's silent.
as a big Deathstroke fan, I'm really interested to know how extentful and deep he is into the story. So it's more of an open-ended question of like, how big and powerful will Deathstroke be in the story?
Well, I guess Deathstroke is typically appears as it's kind of like one of Batman's peers, right? But is physically maybe a little bit superior because of his enhancements. What can I say? What can I say that won't ruin the game for you?
He's badass.
Deathstroke, I would say that Deathstroke is generally one step ahead of all the other assassins, and I think we manifest that well in the game. He's a veteran and very, very skilled. And I think if you're eagle-eyed, you might notice, the Rocksteady games have a tradition of great Easter eggs, story things hidden in the world, hidden in the cinematics, hidden around. We might have some things hidden around there for Deathstroke, which could add up to something in the game. I don't know how much more I can say, I can't ruin it.
Good question.
We share your enthusiasm for the character.
There you go.
Thank you. Hi. First of all, I would like to say you're all lovely and everything, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, if you're gonna do a Batman Beyond thingy, I do hope you don't make my death so tremendously. Yeah. Just make sure of that. And Mr. Baker, I love you. Just make sure you love me as well.
Come on up, Joker. Next question.
He's coming right at us!
There you go. There you go. Prance away. Excellent prancing right there. Mario!
I just wanted to mention real quick, Metroid Prime, favorite game of all time, played lots of games, so...
Awesome. Yes.
Anyway, I was wondering, the first game had those scarecrow encounters where things were weird and trippy, then the second game had the Mad Hatter, and it was also similar like that, where it was not a physical opponent for a Batman, but there was it was a challenge of his mind, and there was some hallucinatory stuff. I was wondering if there's anything like that planned for this game.
Absolutely.
He's got a doctor's smock on there too. Did you notice that?
Is it real Doctor?
Oh, Dr. Mario, there he is.
So, absolutely, abstract sequences, that's what we refer to them as. I don't know what the Rocksteady guys call them, but they're a traditional part of the IP, and I think, certainly when I started playing Arkham City, I couldn't wait to get to the first one of those myself, because everyone was so jazzed with the Scarecrow stuff in Asylum. Absolutely, we'll have some of those, and if you go out and buy a copy of OXM magazine, official Xbox magazine, there are details of one of those in that. That issue just came out, I think, in the last few days, and I'm embargoed from being able to tell you what's in it, but I can tell you to go and look at the magazine and you'll be able to read about one of those.
Fantastic, thank you.
Dr. Mario, come on up. Now a psychologist. There you go. Good question.
I didn't spend 4 years in Mario school, nothing.
This is for Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith. Ooh.
Is it Mr. Smith or is it Mr. Craig Smith? Mr. Smith Esquire the Third.
Sorry. I feel old now.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. How exactly do you plan to make Joker and Batman seem younger? Since this is year 2 of Batman, how do you plan to, make them sound fresh?
I think he called you guys old.
First of all, I'd like to say, speak up, there's a new
I think clearly in what you guys have seen in the game so far, you see that we have a crack team of animators and people of even concept art and everything, what they've done with the characters, that's really doing a lot of the work. I think for me specifically, for Joker, the approach was more fire hose versus laser, you know what I mean? So that as you see where Joker ended up in the Arkham games and the later iterations, everything is focused. He knows, he has this finesse. There's still this chaos that's happening inside of him, but he knows how to channel it. And the youth, to me, was not so much of a voice thing or anything else. It was simply just chaos.
I think for my approach to the younger Batman, I don't know if this is going to make it into the final version of the game or not. I know I worked closely with Eric on this. I just threw in a lot of, like, if I was to address Alfred, it would be, Alfred, dude. And a lot of OMG and LOLs, and I don't know if that's going to make it in, but I should skew younger, I think. Right?
I think Geoff Johns has got to leave us right now. Is that right? Ready? Yes. Okay. So a round of applause to Geoff Johns. That was an awesome question coming up. That's the last one of these, unfortunately, but that was a terrific question. Who's got another question for us? There you go.
I was just
Family
wondering whether maybe in this Batman game, whether there would be some time in the game when Batman's maybe with another character, in which they'd like fight together, do stuff like that.
Just like cooperatively?
Yeah.
Awesome question. Eric, don't spoil anything.
Yeah. I'm sure he meant like romantically. Batman goes on a date.
With copyright. Do you have any more answers for me?
Sorry, I'll shut.
Are you okay? That fall from heaven looked like it hurt.
You're cool with us going to Dutch, right?
None of this is helping your question at all.
Here's my half of the bill.
The reason I'm asking them to fill in is because I can't tell you.
You're right.
My hands are tied right now.
Meet smoke and mirrors.
Wouldn't it be great though if there was a sequence like that? Wouldn't it be fun? I would love to make a sequence like that.
Good question. We've got 5 minutes left. Next question.
How are you, gentlemen? My name is Craig Juan. I'm an aspiring voice actor, and this question is for Troy and Roger. You guys have been first off, you guys have been a real inspiration for me as an aspiring voice actor. Now, you guys were really good as the Batman and Joker. Now, in the future, do you guys see yourselves playing as them? Because I would really, really love to hear you again, and I think that goes with everybody else.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. I'm glad that anything that we do can hopefully inspire you in a creative way, and we wish you all the best. If you come after us, we'll hunt you down. Just playing. It would be an honor to work with you. That would be cool, because we started here. Anytime you guys want to hire us for anything, we will work. We're such nerds, and we're so grateful. Ames, thank you for the conversation that we had, and Pause as well. And thank you guys for even being cool with it, and for not having like red dot lasers on our heads right now going, mess it up, I dare you. I dare you.
I echo that. That's the same answer.
All right.
You're so like machine, man. I'm like,
yeah, what he said. That's pretty good.
that'll work.
Good question. Thank you.
Obviously, you guys have all read Batman comics. I love the idea of origin, but it's very similar to Batman versus Predator 2 with the contract killers, and I'm wondering if I can look forward to that possibility.
A little Predator mixed into this thing? I don't know if that's going to happen. Is that going to happen? Probably not, right?
I have to admit, I had not considered adding the credits. What would he do with $50 million?
Who would win between Batman versus the Predator? I think who would win?
last panel ever, by the way.
This is my first Comic-Con.
I've had sugar.
So Troy Baker as a voice actor, we know that you sound the part, but if you think about it, you also look the part. If you think about it, you can play the Joker.
Which part?
Would you ever consider stepping out of the realm of voice acting and go into a live action film as the Joker?
That'd be cool. I will say this, and I've done TV and I've done film and I love it. I love anytime I get an opportunity to work is a win. Because 98% of our workforce is unemployed, so anyone who actually, I got a job today, that's a good thing. I will say this, I absolutely love the video game space, and I believe in it as a medium, I believe in it as a form of the narrative. So that's definitely something that I want to explore more of. But thank you for your kind words. I appreciate it.
One more question. What do we got?
Make it a good one.
Wow. Well, first of all, thank you for informing us and entertaining us. 12 seems like an odd number to stop at when 13 is the unlucky number. So is there a 13th assassin that may be coming out? Maybe Aunt Harriet?
That's a very good question. Very good. Too bad about that guy.
Can you repeat the question?
Small time we got from
It was along the lines of, Eric, could you tell us how the game ends?
I actually didn't hear the question.
Is there a 13th assassin?
I didn't know there was 12. I thought we there's lots of enthusiasm
Look at
about...
how sweaty and red he made it. I'm so nervous right now.
There's lots of enthusiasm about our Assassin's cast, and one of the things I really like is I go through all the message boards, I read every forum I can about the game, and I skip over the ones that call me douche. My favourite comment, for what it's worth, was I think one on NeoGAF when we were announced, where someone flagged, oh, Eric Holmes is the creative director on this game. That's one for the bargain bin then. That hurt a little bit, but we're really glad people are very enthusiastic about the Assassins, and we'll be rolling them out over the next few months. We will be, I hope we don't share all of them because I want surprises in this game.
Yes,
I want surprises in this game so bad it hurts, which is why it also hurts. I want to tell you everything that's going on, but I can't.